It's been awesome. I've been like, I have to be super grateful for for how everything's been going despite everything going on. I think that it's been it's been a tough year for everyone, but I think that I've just been so fortunate to kind of feel so connected to like so many people. It's like I've been able to feel so much love from people, even in the current situation we're in a time where we're so kind of separate and everyone's sort of so disconnected. I've really been lucky to feel a lot of love and a lot of support and stuff. So I really have to kind of be grateful for how it's been this year. And it's been different because typically I would kind of spend a lot of the year touring and playing shows and stuff, but just being home with the family a bit and kind of just taking some time to just like reflect a little bit and kind of even just to reflect on the last couple of years and just be appreciative and thankful for like the things that I've been able to do already and stuff. So yeah, I've been really, really good. But how have you been? And where are we speaking to you from right now? Are you in London or?
I'm in West London. I have been great. Going back to work has been so strange because human interaction is such a big role in our day-to-day lives, and going back and not being able to touch each other. So I think the second lockdown is very important so that we can get physical again.
100%.
I'm working. This is my first real job here in the UK, working for Madame Tussauds.
Hey.
Yes, and I'm working on getting my own wax figure.
Really?
No, I'm just saying it until it happens. But I work at Madame Tussauds. It's really a dream for me come true because Madame Tussauds is one of the places that I actually have a connection with my grandmother with. She has been there, and not a lot of my family has traveled out of South Africa.
Really?
Yeah. So she's been there. She always used to say, look after my place and how's my place doing? So it's very good to work there and have that connection with her. In South Africa, I used to be a performer, so it's still trying to shake that off though and focus on making the money, honey.
It's all about the money.
So the job is very important. The day-to-day grind is very important. This country is so great with the furlough scheme as well, now that we are in lockdown.
But you're right. It's I think once the news of the vaccine came, just even like 2 days ago, whenever it was, yesterday, can't remember. But the first thing that I was thinking was, when are we going to be able to be back in like a sweaty party, just all over our friends, just like music blaring, just kind of.
It's weird to miss other people's sweat, but I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. Yes.
I don't know why that's my first thought, but it's just like, oh my God, we might get like a festival season next summer, and we might get an opportunity to dance together and to hold each other, and it's that's
Where are you from originally?
So I'm from it's a small village called Bourne End is where I grew up, and it's near a city called Reading, which is just outside of sort of West London. And Reading's not famous for much apart from Reading Festival, which is basically it's this kind of it was like a rock festival. It's kind of more of like a pop and rock festival now, but it's known throughout the country as being bit of a like rite of passage for 15-year-old kids. Like when you're like 15, it's like the place that everyone goes and gets like out of their minds for the first time on like drinking drugs and stuff, and it's like
drugs.
Not, I mean,
but hey, people will do it. People will experiment it. I think.
There's a bunch of kids who's like out of their minds there, but there's not much else that goes on there. But how long have you lived in London?
Just over 2 years I've been here, and yeah, it's a massive.
How have you found it?
I love it. I think this country, the people's voices are heard. You know, being transgender in this country, transgender is a real thing. We in South Africa, it always felt like, you know, it was called like, I'm trying to be a woman. And that was not, I am a woman. It is weird to explain. I didn't know better or how to explain, but I tried in my performances. But in this country, when I just started working at Madame Tussauds, a guy was shouting outside saying that he's a man, don't listen to him, and all of that stuff. It was so crazy. And back in South Africa, I would kick your ass immediately. I don't pay. But I'm a grown woman now.
So have you found being a trans woman in London? You feel that the experience is kind of is different to the one that you had in South Africa?
Yeah, when that happened at work, my manager Becky, she comforted me so well. Like, she really cared, and I was like, this white woman cares about me. And it's not that I'm not a racist, but it was just like, I didn't expect it, because that's not the way that we are in South Africa. We are very segregated and separated. So I was like, wow, she really cares for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my mental health and all of these things that are seen as minor things where I come from. So I'm free. I'm really free as a person. And that is why it's so important for me to make use of my time on this earth in general. And I call myself very forward in life, because I ask people every and anything that because that's how we should be as people. We all need each other.
Well, I'm so glad you said that, Tiara, because one of the main themes of the album, so the album that I made and the album that you are a part of the creative visual of, is it's called Times, because the central theme of the album is exactly that, is that we have a finite amount of time on this planet, and that given any opportunity to celebrate your life in that moment, there are only certain amount of opportunities you're going to get to celebrate that moment. So, given the opportunity, I believe that you have to take full advantage of that opportunity and to
your music
create those
feels
moments.
like that to me. It makes me feel like the days when I was a drag queen in the clubs.
Really? Oh my God,
yeah,
that makes me so
feel
happy.
a bit slutty sometimes, which I don't mind. I don't care. I'm all for that. But the beats in it, I always wonder what goes through your mind. How do you play it out before creating something? I'm always so curious when I listen to the music that you've made, because when your people reach out to my people, who's me, when they spoke to me about this, I wanted to listen to more of your music, because I think before listening to your music, I've kind of lost that connection with electro music. I've kind of lost the connection that I had. I think the last song was acceptable in the 80s. That mix, that was the last one that got me hooked, and gave me that oomph that I needed. But then when I did your shoot, I started listening to your music, I was like, wow, I love this guy,
Thank you.
I love a creative mind.
Thank you so much. And, I think in answer to kind of one of your questions there is that, I think that I've been fortunate enough to attend some gay parties in the last couple of years, DJing and also just going with LGBTQ friends of mine.
Have you ever had a gay experience?
Not personally, but but I've been fortunate enough to go to these places and to witness the energy in those rooms, the inclusivity, and the people expressing themselves in a way that I'd never really seen before. And I think that so much of this album being influenced by those experiences and by, you know, disco music, which is gay black music, you know, disco music originated in those kind of, from those suppressed, marginalized communities in New York in the 70s. And I think that so much of creating this album was kind of like going back and reading about these experiences. I read some books about, you know, the birth of disco in the 70s and stuff, and then also just kind of those experiences, those parties that I'd been fortunate enough to witness, places like House of Yes in New York and Rhonda in LA. And I think that those, witnessing that and feeling that energy really just heavily inspired all of the music that happened on this album. I think that the album wouldn't sound like it would without coming into contact with those people and meeting people in these rooms and feeling that energy. So I'm completely indebted to LGBTQ people for this album.
The same for me, for my life. I'm indebted to these people, really, because, you know, they've given me everything that I am today. And the thing about inclusivity is that everyone knows that they have a part to play. And that is what I love about the gay community. Everyone is there with a purpose, you know. And with your type of music, it sounds like one instrument, but that instrument changes the whole song. And that is how we are as people. You know, the smallest things make big moves.
Yeah, that's a huge compliment. So thank you for that. That's really a very, very kind thing to say. So I really do appreciate
Compliments
that.
are so important, you know. It's important that we tell each other the things that we see in each other and our strengths that we have. And it's good for me to see so that I can learn, you know, to be able to meet someone and then hear his music on the radio.
Yeah.
It's something crazy. It's something amazing. And it makes me know that it is possible. You know, I'm on the path.
Well, for some people that are watching who may not already know, so Tiara has been a big part of the visual creative of the album, where we basically created this environment in which we then conducted this photo shoot where
it was my first gig as well. I came to the venue so nervous in Brixton. I've never been to the area as well. I just go to work and home, okay? And Corona, so I've not been out. And I got to this venue. I was so nervous, but then I got there, and your I think he's the director, Benji, was amazing. I love him.
Oh,
so
cool!
much.
Amazing. That is great.
Yes, and I met him there, and he told me about the vision that he had, and it was just so clear to me. You know, I knew exactly what he wanted. And you were getting changed in the corner, and I was like, listeners, I was zoomed in, honeys, trying to catch a glimpse of the good stuff.
You only need us, Tiara.
Ooh.
No, but I was one of the things I was going to say was that the energy that you brought to the room on that day was so important, and I'm so grateful to you for that, because I think that, you know, when you first met Tajani and Grant on Zoom, the thing that they kind of just fed back to me immediately, they just said that
both so cute.
Was your energy and your shine was just like undeniable, and it was so incredible to meet you, and for you to lend your energy to that moment and that project, and to create an environment that just felt fun and felt you know, for everyone there. You know, I think that us kind of, the objective of the day being to kind of like do this photo shoot and to come away with these photos, I think that without you it could have felt very like forced and kind of like unnatural, but I think that you as a person have a very an open positivity, and I think that you draw people to you, so thank you for being a part of the shoot as well.
Thank you so much. When you spoke at the shoot, I felt like I am now part of the project. You know what I mean? So I once again, my little instrument, I had a role to play in the shoot, and I wanted to bring that. You know, I was also sweating my asshole off. So I was sweating, so I thought to myself, okay, let me get all of the shots that they need to get from me, and then my main focus is to keep everyone's spirit up. The music was great.
Yeah.
We had drinks.
We
I don't know
did.
if I can say.
Yeah, we can say
But
that.
I had a good time, you know, and it was a time that I really needed as well. I felt included with so many different people of different races, different sexualities. It could have been a very well-organized orgy. The way that the way that we all gelled together, you know. I just had a good time with your brother. You know, I didn't see any attitude from you as the artist or the people that were there. I was talking to your friends. They made me feel welcome, and I was just like, you know, whatever you need me to do, I'll do it. Okay, and that's what I gave.
That's incredible, because, you know, kind of coming full circle on what I was saying about the inspiration that I had through going to these parties for the album was that, you know, I wanted...
Take your hand off your ear, because I think it's also on your mic.
Oh, okay, did it muffle it? But, you know, getting to experience those parties and feel that energy, it was like, I wanted the album to create that same feeling, and for hopefully the dream for that music would be for it to be played in these inclusive environments and in these places. I want the music to be a tool that like brings those people together, people from different sexualities, races and genders, and so to hear that from you is really huge for me. So
as a drag performer, I want to sing songs that has a meaning, you know, to it, but also has the beat to break it down in the house, you know? And that's what you're giving me. That's what you're giving me. And everyone that is listening to the song that you made with Robin, we all feel it. You know, if I listen to it on my earphones, I get a type of attitude. So I don't want to listen to it in public. Just indoors.
Yeah, that's incredible. So you said that, you know, your experience in performing as a drag performer. So when did that start, and when did you start performing drag, and how did that what relationship did that hold with like music, in terms of like what music were you performing to, and were there any records that you can remember that are kind of like your favorite records to perform to?
You know, dragging was a massive part of my life. Like, it was everything that I had. To know that I had this talent, I didn't need anything material to keep me surviving. I had my talent. I was in a group, so we were 3 drag queens performing, the first group to perform on Broadway in South Africa. Yes. Sorry. And, you know, we performed at the Artscape Theatre. It was amazing to be able to be the firsts in these things. But it came when I came out of the closet. My family wasn't ready for it. So they asked me to leave. That's how I'm going to phrase it. But I left at the time, and that is where the gay community, the LGBTIQA plus community, that's where they came in and really saw something in me that I didn't see at the time. You know, I was drunk all of the time, fighting all of the time with people. And they were like, no, this is not the way that you are supposed to be. They saw something in me, and that I just wanted to impress them ever since, as a thank you. And then I got into this group of girls, and we started performing. We loved performing songs from divas, and we performed Little Mix a lot because we were a group. So we tried to do songs like that, Destiny's Child, One of my favorites would be, uh, what would a favorite? My favorite song to perform with my friends was, I think, Dancing Queen.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yes.
Incredible. I mean,
Yes.
my mum like brought me up on ABBA, and Dancing Queen was like her song, and,
It
and
gave me
like
that feeling that they wanted for your shoot, like euphoria, a feeling that you can't touch, but you can feel it, and that is what I felt with my friends, and that's what I felt at your shoot. So
mate, that a song like Dancing Queen has exactly that. It has that pure elation and that just euphoria. It's that kind of like overflowing joy to a point of just like of
you can do
emotion.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of people ask me about like disco music, and they're like, oh, like when I tell them that I've been into disco music the last few years and collecting this, and how it's inspired the album, I kind of get asked like, why disco music? Like if you weren't there when it was like happening and all this stuff, but it's
How old are
that
you?
I'm 26.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm old enough.
Legal.
But but I just, the thing that I love about this music and about songs like that and disco records is that just that elation and that euphoria. And I think that, like you said, it's something that you feel in your chest, and it's
I don't
something.
listen to new music a lot anymore because it is about being the one and being bad about it, where it's not about celebrating who we are and who we are when we are together. That is what I miss in music. I've been stuck actually in the old school music for a while. My husband says I'm very close-minded when it comes to music.
That is such an incredible thing you just said there, and I've never sat back and had that perspective, but that is one of the biggest differences between music now and music then, is this kind of focus on self right now. Like so much music is about like I'm the shit, and I'm rich and I'm this, whereas like so much music back then it is about like an adoration of other people. And like even Dancing Queen is this
Yeah,
song
I'm gonna
adoring.
grab my friend and we are gonna have a good time
Yeah,
tonight,
yeah, exactly, and
Yeah.
it's that I've never really sat back and thought that, but that's an incredible way of looking at it, and very, very true. That's really beautiful. So when you were kind of talking earlier about the last electro song that you kind of had listened to was acceptable in the 80s and stuff. Has there been a point in your life ever were you ever someone that went clubbing a lot? Were you ever kind of in nightclubs a lot, or are you still?
Not anymore, but I started clubbing when I was about 14 years old. It wasn't legal, but in South Africa the rules are blurred at times. Performing in clubs, I've always been a club goer. I love that spirit of dancing with strangers and just having a good time together with random people. So I love clubbing.
Do you have any particular memories of any clubs that kind of stand out in your memory, or like anywhere in the world? Is there like a particular club that you kind of hold close in your heart, or there's like a club that you remember walking into and feeling like it was like a safe space, or that you felt a
It
sense
would
of
be
belonging?
my first club that I went to, which is called Club Libro. It was where I lived. It was basically across the road from my house, and I was too young to go. My mother has went to go fetch my sister in the club a few times, embarrassingly. But I went there just knowing that, I'm still close to home. And most of the people were people from the community, so we all knew each other. And I really loved that club. But I love clubbing in general. I used to like getting drunk a lot.
I still do. That's
Sometimes I do. I don't know why I act new, but I haven't in a while.
Have you been clubbing in London at all?
I have. I have mostly to the gay clubs in Soho, and just to kind of find my community once again. Like, I need to be with my people. Like,
Yeah. I saw on
even though
your
I... Sorry,
sorry,
go for it.
I was gonna say I saw on your story the other day that you had there was a meetup that you attended of other trans people, I think, and I was looking at the posts and I could feel your joy through those posts, you know, and it was really, it was wonderful to kind of see the joy that on your face and through your posting. How was that, and what was that was going on there?
I don't get the opportunity enough to meet with these types of people. And even as a trans woman, I have questions for a trans man, you know, and to meet these men. And it was just an amazing experience. One of these girls, she's South African as well, and she was filming something. And she asked me to be part of it. And I'm a yes to life type of girl, so I went. And, you know, it was just beautiful. It was beautiful to see, because where I come from, people don't see it as a serious thing, I think. I'm still trying to convince my parents that this is who I am, you know, and it's getting to a stage where I'm like, fuck, I'm going to cut these people out of my life.
Yeah.
If they don't accept who I am. Like, call me here one more time. But, you know, but then it's still my parents, so it's like, it's very hard. I'm in a hard place with that. But speaking with them and finding that I need to also be patient with people. Like, I told them, sometimes I get defensive when I'm on the train, and I'm like, why is this person staring at me? You know, and I'm like, I just give them the eyes. But I'm defensive at times. So it was good to learn from them.
I think that, you know, I think for those people, I think that like any of those people that will meet you will get to experience what an amazing person you are and to feel your energy. And I think that, like, you know, even without realizing it, you will, just by being yourself and being so outwardly yourself, you are educating people, because I think by being the true version of yourself and being unashamedly you are being visible as a trans woman. I think that it's people get to see you for who you are, and you may not even realize sometimes that people are seeing you and seeing how incredible you are. But I think that will be happening more than you even realize.
Thank you. You know, it's just, I don't think I'm used to it. For it to be a positive thing. Like in South Africa, if I would walk in the streets, we have taxis that is a van that can carry about 17 people in it. So someone would hang out of a window and scream something at some point. So I'm still a bit defensive. I am working on these things on myself, you know, as I am here, and I'm growing and I'm seeing that things are different.
I wanted to ask, so once COVID's over, once we're kind of back to, you know, being able to perform and you're able to perform again, is there anywhere in your mind that you're dreaming of and you're imagining performing or putting on a show?
I'm so scared about it because, you know, this is so personal, you know, passion. And I've been at a stage where I was like, passion don't pay. So I'm done with it. You know, that's why I focus more on having a job here and getting that monthly income, because, you know, as an artist, it's not always easy. And in South Africa, we made it, but the money's saying something differently. And it's in Rand. £1 is 22 Rand. So, you know, it was that type of money. I was just like, I need a real job. And I started working in South Africa as well, but secretly, because if people have this perception of you, then, you know, they think you've made it. So you have to kind of act like you have. I wanted to ask you, um, do you feel like you've made it? What does success look like for you? And do you think that you've kind of...
That's a really good question. I think that there's kind of two separate kind of answers to that in a way, in that like on one hand I would say no, like because I'm quite hard on myself, and that like I want to be the best at what I do, and every day I wake up and I'm able to kind of look at myself and be like, no, I can improve here, and I'm not as good as X, Y, Z, and I want to end up here. So you kind of use that to fuel yourself and to re-inspire and be like, no, I can be better and I can do better. But then the flip side to that is, if I'm able to wake up in the morning and there's a roof over my head and food on the table, and I have that because of music, then I'm like, everything else is a bonus, really. You know, it's like, that's, to me, that is kind of, that's kind of making
the beginning. That is the dream, you know, to be able to survive on the passion, you know, that's the dream. But at the same time, growing is just as important as we know it is. To be stagnant means you've given up.
Yeah, so I definitely don't. I feel like I've got so much more to give, and I have so much more I want to achieve. But at the same time, you know, I look at just that alone, the fact that I can wake up in my flat and be like, oh, you know, I do this for a living is such a blessing. It's funny, I so agree with what you just said about, you can get to a point in your career where the perception outwardly is that you've made it, but the money can be saying something completely different. Because I went through a phase, and there was a phase in my life where, and we can edit this out, Grant, if I can't say this, but basically what happened was I had this Nando's Black Card, which is basically Nando's in the UK, is chicken restaurant, and because
we have Nando's in South Africa. It's actually an African shop
that
has come to the UK.
Of course. So basically, I had this card that allowed me to get unlimited free food based on my profile. It was like, I'd reached a point, but at the same time, I had no money. I could hardly pay my rent, and it was just basically, I was at a point where touring was like losing me money and stuff. So it was so strange, because the perception that my friends had was that I had made it, and I could get free food in the restaurant because I made it. But I would eat there twice a day, like 6 days a week, because I couldn't afford to eat anywhere else. It was like I had to go and get this, and it was like, that was such a strange thing, because getting the Black Card was such a status thing. It was like, oh, you must have made it if you have a Black Card. But I had no money in my account, so it was like.
And getting free alcohol in clubs is not new. You know, no one pays for that shit. I refuse to really pay, so I send my husband to the bar all the time.
Yeah.
But wow, you know, and I thank you so much for sharing that story, because your humbleness is what makes people stay connected. You know, every time I look at people that I follow and that I keep watching their shit, then I'm like, what is it about this person that is keeping me here? Is he making the effort for me? And that humbleness, being so vulnerable, being open to the people that support you, is very important.
Oh, thank you. No, it's very true. It's you know, I think that we live in a time where you look at social media and everyone posts their best moments and their highlights. So like, your perception is that everyone's killing it, and that everyone's like doing well and has money, and it's just like, you know, no one's posting. I try to
be the opposite of that. Okay, I try to always stay positive about it. But if I'm on a live video, I've cried on Facebook, and I don't want to be one of those bitches.
But no tears today.
No. Or can we?
No, we'll. I'll cry.
Onions, please. But you know. Yeah. I probably do see myself performing at one stage. I will never give up. In a different way, probably now. I'm different. I see what I'm capable of. I know exactly what I'm capable of, you know. And I know what I bring to the table. So I kind of know better now. I will be a different performer, but at the same time, I'm married for 5 years now. You know, I would
Congrats.
love to have a baby. Thank you. Corona almost swiped that out of the way. But hey, I'm African. I should be stronger.
That's incredible.
You know, I need to kind of sort my priorities out. I always need to focus on the bigger dream. I can't be as creative as I would. But even if I had the time like Corona, I'm not at that space in my life. I wouldn't. I'm on lockdown. Am I being better as a performer? Am I doing more? Am I working harder? Maybe not. Maybe not. You know, I could do better. So
Yeah.
this is where I'm supposed to be in my life. I feel like after I did your show, which was a very well-paid gig, honey. Thank you.
I got you.
Thank you.
No.
I don't accept anything less. You know, I've done another gig only because it was from your team. The same people that did your gig called me because you're as good as your last performance. And when I was at your gig, I
And it was
gave
exceptional.
everything I had. You
10
know,
out of
and I
10.
got another gig from it. Thank you.
Of course, you know.
So I got another gig, also very well paid. I don't want anything less.
Well, yeah,
now.
you know your worth now, and I think that you said
Yes.
something. You said something really great there, where you're saying, you know, when you know what you bring to the table, and you know your worth and the energy you bring, and then you have to place value on that. And sometimes,
Yes.
as creatives, sometimes you're this prize is hung in front of you, like, oh, if you do this for cheaper, then maybe you'll get this and that. But like, you know, there comes a point where you have to know
The
your
amount
worth.
of times that I've done that, I
Yeah.
feel a bit raped.
Yeah.
But, you know, the amount of times that I've done that, oh, but we're paying you accommodation. That's fine. You should pay my accommodation because I'm coming to your place to perform, unless you pay me enough to book my own accommodation. You know what I mean? But I hate that. I hate that. But what I love about the new artists is they're also business people. You know, you have to be, like when I do my business, I'm very professional. I might come across as ditzy and drunk, and which I am. I'm fucking dumb.
Me too. Same
Don't
here.
ask me to spell, and don't you dare bring maths up when I'm in the room. Okay, none of that. But when
Amazing.
it comes to my business, I'm very serious about it. And what I wanna share with people, it always needs to take it to the next step. Not just for myself, but for them. We were that type of people before. I don't delete old posts either because I want to see how I used to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You want to be able to see your progress, of course. Like,
Yeah, if you go on my profile, you can see a picture of what I look like the first time I got dressed. You know, what I look like when I used to be a boy. You can see that because this is all part of me. I've done a video without a wig. I want people to see all of these things because the struggle is real, but it is worth it.
And so they can see how you look now and the journey there, you know?
Yes.
Because you look fabulous now, you know?
And also because I'm working my ass off, I make sure that I also share that, you know, it is about the money.
That's a very positive thing to put out, and that's a really great thing you're doing by sharing that journey, because I think that...
I don't even know if we answered that question.
No, that's
if
great.
I just-
That's perfect. That's really, really perfect. But yeah, I just reading through my notes, but I mean, we've covered so much of what I wanted to kind of talk to you about today, but I mean, I wanted to say generally just thank you so much for being a part of this album, and also for just speaking today, because I think that I really wanted to speak to everyone who is a part of this album, and to yourself after meeting you, because you have this incredible energy and this story to tell, and And so I'm just extremely grateful to have met you, and thank you for doing this and being a part of it as well. But I think I'm gonna sort of round it with a bit of a cheesy question. Like I was kind of thinking, and I hadn't really planned to ask you this, but just like if you were kind of speaking to a young trans person who's watching this and is worried about their future or coming out to their family and saying, what advice would you impart on them, or even on a younger self yourself?
Yeah. It always comes back to me because I still have a relationship with my parents, but the fact that they turned their backs on me when I came out has been something that I struggle with, but it's also the best thing that has ever happened to me. It is something that's why I started realizing how strong I can be when I'm forced to be, and then everything else is just, I know that I have the tools. So be part of your journey, live in the moment when you are there. Look towards the future, make steps towards it, put the work in today for tomorrow. Know who you are is very important. Know who you are and what you have to offer. Don't let people take advantage of you. Even when you know that they're doing it and you choose to do it, that is you giving your power away. Know that you are powerful, bitch.
Yeah.
Hashtag. Know that it is okay that things are hard at times. We're going to have off moments, but we will never have an off life. Facts. And yeah, bring it to the table for everyone, not trans or straight or gay or lesbian. Everyone, bring to the table what you have to offer, because we are in the world now and this is where we are. Bring your part and let's live. Don't be a backsetter in life, even when people are going to try to break you down. We just had a very slap in the face with Donald Trump to see what bullies are capable of and how far they can go when they fight to get there. But majority of us are good people and we know how to deal with bullies. And he's out. And
He's
that's
gone.
how we... Besides the fact that that's how we do it, also kick their asses. Show them who is boss. Don't take shit from these people. If people are racist, if people are sexist, if they don't appreciate and respect the fact that we are different and unique, we don't tolerate that. They can't sit with us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Fuck yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But are you happy in the step of your career and where you are?
Absolutely. I feel like at 26, I feel like I know myself more than I ever did. I feel like there's nothing that I can do that embarrasses me now. I feel like, I feel like I have nothing that I'm scared of. It's like I feel like when I started, I was so worried about what people think of me, and I'm worried about what people think of my music and how I dress and everything. And it's like now I have no fear. It's like I really just want to experience as many things as I can and to live my life to the fullest that I can. And I feel that I know myself so much more than I did when I was a teenager and in my early 20s, and I feel very grateful for that. I'm happy, I'm healthy.
Were you different or treated different as a child?
I think that I was extremely introverted as a child. I was just very nervous and awkward and an anxious person. And I think that if you'd asked me whether I would end up on stage for a living when I was 14, I'd have laughed in your face. That was my idea of almost hell. I loved music, but I never wanted to be center of attention. And whereas I think that through performance and through music, I've sort of, it was something that it was like a baptism of fire. I just ended up on stage, and then through it just kind of shattered this nervousness I had, and I think that it changed me as a person. I think that it made me more confident in myself, and it made me just I have, like I said, I have no fear now. There's nothing that I am worried about, or there's nothing that I'm ashamed of about myself. So it's just I feel very fortunate to feel that way, and I have to remind myself that, you know, as an artist and as a musician, that nothing is ever promised tomorrow. You know, there's no guarantee that I'll ever be able to do this forever, or to do this financially.
A lot of artists say that, though. I've seen it a lot of times on TV. You're the first international star I know. So don't you forget it. Like, really, don't you forget what makes you an artist and what has brought you here. Look at your family. Do you have siblings?
Yes, I got 2 brothers, and I'm very lucky to be very close. Yeah, we're super close. So it's then, you know, they definitely make sure that I never get ahead of myself, and never get, you know, never let my ego grow or anything, because you know, they keep me in check.
The greatest thing for me to humble myself is when I really look at myself, and that is without the makeup as well, which is like 2 hours a day. And I look at myself and I see all of the imperfections that I have. You know, nobody's perfect. We are not the shit. We are the geeks and the losers that have made it.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
That have changed our shit, or that act up to play the game in life. You know what I mean? So let's stay those people. Let's stay those humble people, and just share our gift and get paid for it.
Get paid for it, because I still, on many levels, I still feel like that kid. You know, that awkward, like, shy kid. But it's like you said, we figured out how to step up to the play, I guess. So, but absolutely, that's a bombshell to end on, for sure. But thank you so much, and I've loved talking, and I've loved catching up, and I'm so glad that we met. And as soon as we have shows back on, A, I'd love you to come down to one of mine, and B, if you are performing in the future, I'd love to see you perform as well.
A, I will come to the show. B, performing, I think you'll probably see me on the screens.
Yeah.
Before I do any, other stuff. I think I'm a bitch with big dreams. I'm a bad bitch. I'm the one that is forward and that is going to ask the questions that others don't want to ask. And I'll just try to keep staying. I want to stay that person. And
you're a light and a force, Tiara, and thank you so much.
Cheers. I hope I get to see this because I'm a little tipsy.
Of course. Thank you.
No, but
thank you
I
so
love
much.
your music. I do love your music. I'm not just saying it because
thank you so much,
we
Tiara.
don't have to speak again after this. I love your music. I love your creative mind. It really intrigues me. I love the people that work with you, the 2 gentlemen there.
They're all right.
They're all right. But we can always do better.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Professionalism is very important on a brand.
Absolutely.
With a brand.
Thank you so much, Tiara.